My sister-in-law tried to rename our baby at the hospital. The room was spinning when I opened my eyes. My throat was dry and everything felt distant. The steady beep of a monitor, the soft hum of nurses outside my door. But then I heard it. A voice, her voice, saying a name I didn't recognize. "Let's go with Clara Rose, my sister-in-law Jenna," said sweetly. It sounds so much better than what she picked. My heart jolted. Clara Rose? I tried to sit up, but the world tilted. I caught sight of her at the hospital desk, signing papers. My newborn's name papers. "Excuse me," the nurse whispered, hesitant. "Are you the mother?" Jenna smiled. "Yes, I'm family. She's resting. I'm just helping finalize the birth certificate." And that's when I knew something was terribly wrong. My name is Maya, and until that day in the hospital, I thought I understood family. I'm 28 years old, married to my college sweetheart, Ethan, and we live in a quiet suburban neighborhood just outside of Portland. Ethan works as a graphic designer from home, and I'm a part-time kindergarten teacher. Life wasn't perfect, but it was peaceful. We'd spent years saving for our first home, building a small garden in the backyard, and dreaming about the family we'd start someday. When I found out I was pregnant, Ethan cried. Happy, disbelieving tears. The pregnancy wasn't easy. Morning sickness hit hard, and my blood pressure ran high near the end. Still, I kept reminding myself it would all be worth it when I finally held our little girl. But there was one person who made those 9 months feel heavier than they should have. Ethan's sister, Jenna. Jenna had always been complicated. She was the kind of person who needed to be right, even about things that didn't matter. She'd say things like, "If you name her something outdated, she'll get teased," or "You don't know how to handle babies, I've babysat plenty." At first, I brushed it off. Jenna could be controlling, yes, but she was also family. I tried to believe her intentions came from love. When Ethan and I finally chose a name, Lily Grace, it felt perfect, soft, timeless, and full of meaning. Lily had been my grandmother's name, and Grace symbolized the calm we wanted our daughter to grow up with. But Jenna wrinkled her nose. "Lily Grace sounds too old-fashioned," she said, waving a manicured hand. "You should go with something modern. Like Clara, or maybe Ella Rose. That sounds elegant." I laughed it off, thinking she'd get over it. I was wrong. Because somewhere between my final contraction and my first moment of rest, Jenna decided she knew better. And by the time I woke up in that hospital bed, she was already signing her choice onto my daughter's birth certificate. The monitor beeped, steady and indifferent. As if my life hadn't tilted so hard it knocked the air from my lungs, I pressed the call button with a shaky finger. A nurse slipped in with the quiet speed of someone used to emergencies. She was petite, hair tucked into a navy cap, eyes kind but alert. Her badge read Mia. I heard a name, I whispered. "Not ours." Mia's eyes flicked toward the open doorway where Jenna's voice floated in. Brisk, matter of fact, like she owned the place. "What name did you choose?" Mia asked gently. "Lily Grace," I said, my throat raw. "We chose it together. My husband and I. It's after my grandmother." Mia nodded like an anchor dropped quietly to the seafloor. "Then that's your baby's name." I tried to sit up. The room tilted. Mia steadied me with a hand on my shoulder. "You had a tough delivery," she said. "Your blood pressure's still high. If you try to stand right now, we'll end up with 2 emergencies." Beyond the door, paper rustled. I heard Jenna's smile in her voice. "She's not awake enough to make decisions," Jenna told someone. "Administration? A clerk?" She asked me to finalize everything. "We've got a family tradition, Rose for the first girl. Clara Rose. Please write it exactly that way." I tasted metal. "I did not ask her to do anything," I whispered, Mia's jaw set. "I'll check on this." She left the bed rails up and disappeared. I stared at the ceiling tile with the faint stain shaped like a cloud. Breathe in, hold, breathe out. I counted 5 beeps. 10. 15. Ethan wasn't there. I remembered his hand on my forehead just before I drifted off. The soft, hushed promise. "I'm going to get us something real to eat. I'll be right back. Coffee? A granola bar." Maybe he was in the hallway right now, laughing with his sister. Maybe he'd be relieved she was helping. The thought twisted in my stomach. Footsteps. Then 2 voices. "Ma'am? We need the mother's signature. She's the mother," Jenna insisted, lighter and sweeter than spun sugar. "Well, her sister-in-law? Same family." She told me the name. "She's in recovery, and she wants it done before visitors arrive." A murmur. Then Mia again, firmer this time. The mother's signature is required. Silence. A beat too long. I braced my hands against the rails and breathed. The IV line tugged at my wrist. Pain pricked along my incision like cruel beads on a wire. I pushed anyway, legs swinging over the edge. Don't, I told myself. You'll fall. I didn't care. The door opened and Mia returned, not alone. Another nurse stood beside her, taller, older, with a lanyard full of laminated policy cards. We've paused the paperwork, Mia said, calm. No one is authorized to complete anything without you or your husband present. My chest loosened a fraction. Where's my baby? My voice broke halfway through the sentence. I haven't. Have they taken her? She's in the nursery for vitals, Mia said. She's healthy. A strong crier. I closed my eyes and heard that little cry echo down the hall. A sound stitched somewhere inside me. Can you take me to her? We can, Mia said, but we're going to do it safely. Wheelchair. And we'll page your husband. Please, I said. It took 3 minutes to transfer me to the wheelchair. Each movement felt like someone carefully unwrapping me from pain. Mia wrapped a blanket around my shoulders, tucked my feet onto the footrests, and then we were out of the room and into a corridor that smelled like warm plastic and antiseptic. I saw her before she saw me. Jenna stood at the nurse's station, one elbow on the counter as if she were waiting to be seated at a cafe. She wore a blush pink sweater set, her hair in its usual glossy wave. She noticed me and lit up like a hostess. Oh, Maya, she chirped. Finally awake. Don't worry, I'm taking care of everything. She said it as if care were something you could file for on a line marked other. I wanted to say the careful words. I wanted to be gracious. But the imagery of a pen scratching Clara Rose where Lily Grace should be sent a hot streak of clarity through my fog. You're not, I said, the words small but sharp. Jenna blinked. Don't be dramatic. It's just a name. And you're in no state. Mia positioned my wheelchair between Jenna and the counter. A barrier. Family can help, but only parents authorize, she said. Those are our rules. Jenna's smile thinned. I know the rules. I also know our family. We made an agreement about the first girl getting Rose, Mom's wish. We've talked about this. I stared at her, the hallway hum rising. A custodian pushed a cart past, wheels squeaking. Somewhere a phone rang twice and stopped. What agreement? I asked, though I knew the answer. There wasn't one. Jenna shifted, as if smoothing the air with her hand. Well, Ethan understood. It's hard for him to stand up to anything right now. He's overwhelmed. And the baby deserves a strong name. Clara Rose is strong, my stomach nodded. We chose Lily Grace. We've had it for months. She glanced at the ceiling as if appealing to someone invisible. And I told you it sounded too old-fashioned. I offered you Ella Rose as a compromise. You cut me out of the decision. You're not her mother. That slipped out faster than I planned. It flew and landed with a dull thud between us. Jenna's face changed, narrowed, almost hurt. Her hand went to the locket at her throat, the one with their mother's tiny photograph inside. I'd seen that movement before, the conversational clutch, and then, like a tide receding, a different thought pulled at me. The locket, the first girl gets Rose. A family script. After their mother passed, Linda, my mother-in-law, kept saying, "We'll keep her traditions alive." Had anyone ever actually agreed to the specifics? Or had Jenna written them down herself and carried them like rules? Ethan appeared at the far end of the hallway, a paper cup in one hand, a crinkled bag in the other. Relief hit me so hard I could taste the coffee he carried. He saw us and hurried over, eyes darting from me to Jenna. Hey, he said, panting slightly. I left for 5 minutes. What's going on? Jenna pasted on the kind of smile you put on for a family photograph. Nothing's wrong. I'm just helping finalize the name. Clara Rose. Ethan froze mid-step. He looked at me. Ethan, I said. Tell them the name. For a moment, he didn't speak. The elevator pinged. A door shut down the hall. I watched his jaw move. Then he inhaled like it hurt. It's Lily Grace, he said quietly. It's always been Lily Grace. Jenna laughed. Too loud for the hospital corridor, the sound bouncing off the beige walls. You're being ridiculous. We talked about tradition. You said you'd think about it. I thought about it, he said, voice steadying. I thought about it every night. I watched Maya fall asleep with her hands on her belly, whispering, "Good night, Lily." I thought about it when Grandma's recipe cards arrived in the mail and when we put the quilt on the nursery chair. It's Lily Grace. Mia didn't move, but I felt her nod behind me. Jenna's cheeks flushed. You're choosing nostalgia over your own mother's wishes? Over our family? Mom asked me to keep Rose for the first girl. I'm the oldest. That makes me... She stopped before saying in charge, but the words hovered like a cloud with hard edges. I'm protecting our legacy. Ethan's shoulders sagged when he heard Mom. Grief reached for him, always just beneath his skin since she passed away the year before. He set the coffee on the counter with careful fingers, protect it by remembering why Mom loved names. He said softly. She loved meaning. She loved stories. He looked at me. Lily is Maya's grandmother. Grace is what my mom prayed before dinner every night. It's both families. Jenna's gaze went sharp. So that's your problem, Maya? You can't. Let go of your side of the family for once? Her words hit me in two places at once. The place that was hurt and the place that was tired. I wanted to say I had let go of so many things. My tidy house, my normal blood pressure, my plans for a natural birth. Because life had demanded surrender. Why was this the hill we were dying on? Because names matter, because words stay. Mia gently cleared her throat. If you'd like, she said to me, we can visit the nursery now. I'd like that, I said. We turned away from the counter. Jenna's voice followed us like a draft. If you keep Lily Grace, don't expect me to pretend I'm happy. And don't blame me when people say it sounds plain. Ethan flinched, but he tucked his hand into mine on the wheelchair arm, and that simple weight steadied me. The nursery was a glass-windowed square of soft light. The heater hummed faintly. A nurse behind the window checked ID bracelets. Baby to mother to baby. Meticulous. Bassinets lined the room like tiny shimmering boats. And there, in the third one, was my daughter. The card at the foot of her bassinet stopped my breath. 2 words, handwritten in blue. Clara Rose. I swayed. The world tilted again. Mia's fingers tightened on the wheelchair handles before I could pitch forward. It's just the temporary crib card, Mia said fast. Not the official record. We'll correct it now. A flush of heat rose, cresting behind my eyes. The nurse inside saw us, glanced at my bracelet and then down at the card. Her face registered the mistake, confusion knitting in her brow. She opened the door and stepped out, card in hand like evidence. I'm so sorry, she said. A family member informed us we'd decided on Clara Rose. We should have confirmed with you, Mom. We'll fix it right away. The word Mom broke something open in me. Not the you're in trouble kind from childhood. The kind that stitched me back together. Thank you, I whispered. She swapped the card for a blank one and looked up with a pen poised. Please confirm the name. I swallowed and felt it settle very heavy and very right. Lily Grace? I said. Lily Grace. She smiled. Beautiful. I touched the bassinet's clear edge. My daughter's fingers flexed like a little star opening. Her skin was the color of sunrise. She made a tiny sound that felt like a secret between us. Ethan bent close, his forehead almost touching the plastic. Hi, Lily, he breathed, the syllables changing the shape of the moment. Behind us, footsteps clicked. Jenna stood in the doorway of the nursery room, not coming in, just watching like she was keeping score. Her arms were crossed, locket shining at her throat. Her voice softened. You're making a mistake, she said. You're going to disappoint the family. The family, Ethan said, turning slowly, should be proud that she's here at all. Healthy, breathing. That's what Mom would have said. And Mom would have said to honor her with Rose. Jenna shot back, eyes glassy. The nurse quietly slipped away with the corrected card. Mia stayed where she was, a steady presence. I could feel a seam in the air opening between past and present, between the girl who avoided conflict and the mother who couldn't. I inhaled. Jenna, I said. And when she looked at me, something loosened in her posture. Maybe she didn't expect me to speak. Not when I was still pale and shaking, not when stitches burned under my gown. Did you tell the nursery a name without us? Her chin lifted. Somebody had to. Why? I asked. Why did you feel like you had to? A crack. Just a small one, like a thread being tugged. She glanced at the locket, thumb rubbing the metal's edge. Because Mom told me, she said, voice smaller now, that if I didn't keep the tradition, it would disappear. She trusted me. She trusted you to hold it, Ethan said carefully, not to wield it. Jenna looked at him like he'd switched languages. I recognized that look. I'd worn it myself before, when grief misunderstood the assignment and tried to organize people instead of memories. Her eyes flicked to the bassinet. She softened for a breath. She's cute, she said to me as if surprised. I mean, she's beautiful. The word caught, honest and reluctant. I let that be what it was. My phone vibrated in the pocket of my robe. Distantly, I slipped it out. 3 notifications lit the screen from our family group chat. Welcome, Clara Rose. She's perfect, Jenna. Love that name. A photo blurred behind the banner. The corner of a pink blanket, the hospital floor. A shot taken from the hallway, cropped so you couldn't see faces. My stomach dropped. Jenna had already posted an announcement. Ethan saw it pop up on his phone too. His mouth tightened. He looked at her. "You're posting before we do?" he asked, hurt winding through the question. "Before Maya does?" "I was trying to help," Jenna said, defensive, fast as a reflex. "People were asking. It's what family does." "Family asks first," I said. The word surprised even me, more steady than I felt. The room felt hotter. The faint whir of an air filter clicked on in the ceiling. Wind like white noise. Down the hall, Linda appeared, my mother-in-law, shoulders slightly hunched, a cardigan folded over her arm. She must have hurried when she saw the messages. She stopped in the doorway, eyes taking us in one by one, landing last on the bassinet. "Oh," she breathed. Her hand flew to her mouth. Look at her." Jenna moved toward her. "Mom would have loved Clara," she started, already constructing the case. Linda's eyes sharpened, cutting through the fog. She looked at me, then at the card the nurse had just pinned neatly to the bassinet. Lily Grace. A wrinkle of surprise. Then something like relief. "Lily," she repeated, testing the word. "Like the lilies in Grandma Marion's backyard? The ones your mother used to pick for Easter?" She said it to Ethan, and his smile broke, real and relieved. Jenna's mouth opened, closed. "But your mother wanted kindness," Linda said softly. "She wanted connection. A name is a bridge, not a battlefield. It should have settled there." It didn't. Not yet. Jenna's face crumpled for a heartbeat, then smoothed over. "You're all ganging up on me because I'm the only one brave enough to speak for tradition." No one spoke. The baby sighed, a small sound that reset the room. I thought of the baby shower 3 months earlier when Jenna reorganized the gift table and told the photographer to shoot more flattering angles for the mother. I thought of the group chat where she posted a poll, top 10 modern girl. Names. And when I didn't vote, she messaged privately, "Fine, be secretive. But don't expect me to clean up the mess if you pick badly." I remembered the way Ethan shifted, always trying to keep peace, to make soft space around her sharp corners. I inhaled slowly. "Jenna," I said, "if you love our baby, then love the name her parents chose. You don't have to love how it sounds, but love what it means to us." She folded her arms tighter. "What about what it means to me?" "Tell us," I said. Her eyes shone, not with dramatic tears, but with the plain, unhideable wetness that shows up when someone holds too much for too long. "It means I'm still important," she whispered. "It means Mom's still here because I'm the one who remembers." Silence settled like dust in sunlight. Ethan's voice gentled. "You are important, not because of a name, because you're my sister." Her mouth trembled. She held it still the way you do when you're unwilling to fall apart in public. Mia glanced at the time and back at me. "We need to get you back to your room soon," she murmured. "Vitals are due." I nodded. As we were about to turn the chair, the nursery door opened again and a clerk stepped in, holding a small folder, the official packet. She looked between us, uncertain. "I was told to confirm the baby's legal name," she said carefully, with the mother. I reached for the folder, my hand still a little unsteady. The room arranged itself around this moment. The hum of the heater, the faint beep of a monitor, the quiet presence of people who would shape my daughter's first day on Earth. I held the pen. The line for child's name waited, blank and expectant. My pulse thrummed loud in my ears, not from fear, from clarity. I bent forward, and that is where everything broke open. The pen trembled in my hand. It was ridiculous. A small, ordinary pen with a blue cap and a thin barrel. But it felt like holding the weight of 100 memories, arguments, and whispered promises. Jenna stood at the edge of the room, her arms crossed tightly, her mouth a hard line. Ethan's hand rested on my shoulder, warm, steady, silent. Everyone waited. I looked down at the line on the form. Name of child. I. Could almost see the ghost of another name trying to fill it. Clara Rose. Neat. Sharp. Tidy. But that wasn't my daughter. I thought about the long nights when I'd whispered Lily to the quiet curve of my stomach, how Ethan painted her nursery walls the color of soft petals, how my grandmother's wrinkled hands had brushed over the baby blanket she made, smiling through her tears. Everything about our child, or her story, her name, was already alive. It didn't need approval. My fingers steadied. The pen touched paper, and with slow, deliberate strokes, I wrote it. Lily Grace Thompson. When I finished, I signed beneath it. My hand shook as I set the pen down, not from weakness, but from something fiercer. The kind of strength you only discover when you have someone to protect. The clerk nodded respectfully. Congratulations, Mrs. Thompson. It's official. A wave of relief flooded through me so suddenly that I almost laughed. Ethan squeezed my shoulder, and I could hear his breath tremble, a sound caught between pride and gratitude. But the moment shattered when Jenna stepped forward. You had no right to override me like that, she hissed, voice trembling. I was trying to honor Mom. I looked up at her. She wasn't furious anymore, she was hurt. Behind all the control and criticism, I could finally see what it really was. Fear. Fear that she was fading into the background of her own family. Jenna, I said quietly, you don't need to control things to be seen. You're already part of her life, whether her middle name is Rose or not. Tears filled her eyes, glinting under the fluorescent light. You don't get it. After Mom died, I promised I'd keep her alive somehow. I think she's still alive, I whispered. Right here. I pointed gently to my heart. Not in a name on paper. For a long moment, Jenna said nothing. The steady beeping of monitors filled the silence. Then she turned away, shoulders shaking once, before walking out of the nursery without another word. Ethan watched her go, torn between heartbreak and relief. She'll calm down, he murmured. Maybe, I said softly, looking down at Lily's tiny face. But even if she doesn't, our daughter knows who she is. Mia, the nurse who'd stood by me from the beginning, gave a small smile. You did the right thing, Mom, her words sank in. For the first time, I realized what that meant. Being the mother, the protector, the voice. When they wheeled me back to my room, I felt exhausted but certain. Ethan sat beside me, feeding Lily from a tiny bottle. She made soft sounds, like sighs in miniature. Outside the window, the sky was pink with evening. The world looked brand new, the way it only does after a storm finally breaks, and somewhere down the hall I thought I heard a quiet sob. Jenna's, maybe. But this time I didn't feel anger. Just understanding. Sometimes love tries to control because it's afraid of being forgotten. But true love? It lets go. And trusts it will still be remembered. The next morning, sunlight poured through the hospital blinds in golden stripes across the sheets. The night had been long but gentle. Lily's soft breathing filling the quiet room. Ethan had fallen asleep in the visitor chair, his hand still resting near the bassinet. I watched the two of them, my husband and our daughter, and felt something shift deep inside me. The fear, the chaos, the pain from the day before, it all seemed to fade under the warmth of morning light. When Jenna walked in a few hours later, I braced myself, but her voice was softer than I'd ever heard it. Can I hold her? She asked quietly. I hesitated for only a second, then nodded. She came close, eyes red-rimmed but steady. She lifted Lily gently, careful with every movement. For a long moment, she didn't speak. She just stared down at her niece, a small smile forming through tears. She looks peaceful, she whispered. Like she knows she's loved. She is, I said. Jenna sat beside me. I'm sorry, she said after a while. I thought I was helping, but I guess I was just trying not to lose what little of Mom I had left. I reached out and touched her arm. You don't have to hold on through control. You can hold on through memories, through stories, through us. Mom's love isn't gone. It's just changed, she nodded slowly, eyes glistening. Maybe Lily can still have Rose somewhere. Like a nickname, I smiled. You can call her whatever sweet name you like. Aunt Jenna. Her laugh was small but real. The first sound of peace between us in months. When the discharge papers came, Ethan tucked Lily's blanket around her and kissed her tiny forehead. Welcome home, Lily Grace, he whispered. Driving home, I stared out the window, feeling both exhausted and grateful. The world looked softer. Every tree, every cloud, somehow more alive now that I knew how fragile peace could be. That night, when I rocked Lily to sleep, I whispered the lesson I'd learned. Names matter, sweetheart. Not because of how they sound, but because of the love behind them. Yours carries 2 families, 2 hearts, and a story of courage. I glanced toward the doorway, where Jenna stood with a gentle smile watching quietly. For the first time, she didn't try to correct or control. She just belonged. Family isn't about winning. It's about remembering who we are, who we've loved, and who we're becoming. And as Lily drifted into dreams, I realized something simple but true. Sometimes grace isn't something you're born with. It's something you choose even when it hurts. So what would you have done in my place? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories like this.